Hi guys, my name's Bex and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you 10 books that I must read in 2020. As the 2019 video has come to the close and I've started out my 2020 well, what I wanted to do was bring you the books that I must read in 2020. These are books that could have just been released or ones that have been sitting on my shelves for a very long time. The probability is they've been sitting on my shelves for a really long time, but I've got 10 books to show you guys today, and these are the ones that are the highest priority for me. These are the ones that I'm going to be trying to squeeze on nearly every TBR I can and make sure I finish them, because for some of them, it's just time. It's just time to read them. I'm really reinvigorated with my reading, and I'm hoping to smash out the books that I have been procrastinating, or some ones that I'm just really excited about. So without further ado, let's dive straight into the books that I must read in 2020. Now these are in like no particular order other than I've just pulled them out. I'm going to start with probably the ones that have been on my shelf the longest, starting with Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This book was in my must-reads of 2019, and as you can see, didn't read it. So we're going to be trying better in 2020. And Clockwork Angel is another book in the Shadowhunter universe. I have read the whole of the Mortal Instruments, but I haven't started on this one. And it follows a girl named Tessa Gray who crosses the ocean to England to find her brother. And London's downworld's going a little bit crazy, where vampires and warlocks kind of stalk the gaslit streets, and only Shadowhunter warriors keep the peace amidst the chaos. Tessa is then kidnapped and kind of learns that she is herself a downworlder, and the story goes from there. So I've actually never read the synopsis of this book before, which I think is really weird. When I first got this book, I was really excited about reading it, but as I put it off through the years, I feel like will I love it will be the question. So I definitely needed to get to Clockwork Angel to answer that question, whether I love it or not. The next book that has been on my shelf the longest is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, one that has made it to many a TBR and never got read. This is the first book in the Throne of Glass series, and it follows Selena Sardothian, who is like the greatest assassin in this world, and she's kind of been pulled out to win her freedom, from what I understand. If she can beat 23 killers, assassins, and warriors, she will become the King's Champion and be released from prison. So that's where it starts. I don't know much about it. I know that everybody loves the Throne of Glass series, but I still haven't got to it. I love the A Court of Mist and Fury series that Sarah J Maas has written after this series, so I'm hoping that this one I will love just as much, but I don't know. I've just been putting it off. I think I'm nervous. I think I'm nervous because there's so many books in the series and I haven't started one yet. So I will do with everything in my power to make sure I can read Throne of Glass in 2020. Next one I'm going to be talking to you about is And I Darken by Kiersten White, which was a Vlad the Impaler retelling. So it follows Lada, and she is a princess that nobody has known before. She is absolutely ruthless, but her brother Radu is everything she is not. He is delicate and he is kind, and she is kind of held captive by the Sultan. She then is kind of befriends slash enemies his son Mahmed, and their three lives kind of entangled together, and I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens because I haven't read it, but I have heard some amazing things about Kiersten White's writing. I've only read one book by her and I actually didn't love it, but I want to give this one a go. I've heard amazing things, and I think Bunny and I will be buddy reading this one this year. So Bunny, keep me accountable and make it happen. Alright, next one that has been on my shelf for ages is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I bought it because of this cover. As you can see, it's stunning. Why haven't I read it? Unsure. And this is set in 18th century Cairo and follows Nari. And Nari has never believed in magic, but she is a con woman and has power of her own, and her con artist ways are the way that she survives. But when she accidentally summons a djinn, she must kind of rethink her beliefs. This djinn ends up telling Nari a story, and it goes from there, and she might want to kind of enter the djinn world or things like that. I'm not really sure, but it looks beautiful. It's a stunning cover. When this one first got released, I heard amazing things, but then it kind of died down a little bit, so I kind of want to visit it and see if I like it as much as everyone did when it first released. Next up we have We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson. This follows Henry Dalton, who's had kind of a hard life. He has had a lot of shit put on him, and one day he kind of gets abducted by aliens, I believe, and they kind of say, here's a button, press it and destroy the human race, or don't. And he's had a hard enough life and he doesn't really like the human race, so he's kind of to decide what to do in this one, I believe. But that's kind of all I know about it, and that's all I want to know about it. I think it's going to be a really hard-hitting contemporary that kind of goes through the inner workings of someone who's had such a hard life. But I think it's got a little sci-fi twist, and I'm really, really interested to see where this one goes. I know a lot of people have read this, and I know a lot of people love this, so I'm hoping I am one of those too. Moving on, these are in no particular order now. There's just the way I grabbed them off the shelf. The first one is going to be The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. This is the second book in the Kingkiller Chronicles that follows Kvothe, who is a dragon slayer, who is a swordsman, and who is the greatest wizard the world has ever seen, and no one has ever heard his story, but now he is telling it to a chronicler, and this follows it. It follows from him like growing up, wanting to be kind of like a bard, to kind of working out that he's got some special powers, and it goes from there. I haven't read this one, but I read The Name of the Wind last year and loved it, and I wanted to get into this one. The Name of the Wind's made it on my best books of 2019, I'll link up above, so I'm hoping The Wise Man Fears makes it on my 2020, and I'm just really excited to read it. I loved the first one, I'm hoping I'm going to love the second one, and I've heard he's got the next book coming out this year, and it's been like 10-15 years since the last release, so fingers crossed that happens, but I'm really, really excited to read it and see how much I love it, because I know G from Book Gross loves this series. Next up, we have Red Sister by Mark Lawrence, and this story follows Nona Grey, who is brought to kind of a convent for assassins when she was 8, accused of murder, but guilty of much, much worse. At this convent of Sweet Mercy, they are raised to kind of be killers, and some people have kind of inherited old blood, which give them other special talents, but they don't know what they've got themselves into when Nona Grey is brought to their halls. I love the young assassin trope. I love Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, and I'm hoping Red Sister gives me those sort of vibes, because I feel like this girl's maybe had quite a rough upbringing as well, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I know Cody from Cody's Book Corner loves this, and I just want to see if I love it as much. The next book I want to talk to you about is Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. This is the gorgeous, gorgeous edition that I decided to purchase, which is just the best thing I've ever seen in my life. It's going to play out with my white balance, but we'll get through it really quick. This is the second book that comes after Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and I'm just really, really excited to read it. The first book follows Victor and Eli, who when they were in university, they started doing kind of tests to how to make people supernatural, and they may or may not have made each other supernatural. And they kind of fall out, and they're both kind of morally grey characters that believe the other one should die, and it's just really, really interesting, and I'm excited to move on to Vengeful to see what happens in this one. I know we've got some other characters coming into it, and I know that Victoria Schwab's writing is fantastic, and I know that I loved Vicious so much that I'm hoping Vengeful will live up to the hype as well. The next one I'm going to talk to you about that I want to read is this one, which is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, which is the biggest book on my shelf, I think. Unless Wise Man's Fear is bigger. Wise Man's Fear is bigger, you're right. But this is still massive, and I'm not really sure what it's about, but I know I really want to read it because I believe there's dragons in it. So I will just quickly have a little look in here. The House of Barenthnet has ruled Innis for 1,000 years. Queen Sabran IX must conceive a daughter to protect the realm from destruction, but assassins are creeping closer to her door. Ead Duran is an outsider in the court. Though she has risen to the position of lady-in-waiting, she is loyal to a hidden society of mages. Ead keeps a watchful eye on Sabran, secretly protecting her with forbidden magic. Across the Dark Sea, Tane has trained to be a dragon rider since she was a child, but is forced to make a choice that could see her life unravel. Meanwhile, the divided East and West refuse to parley, and forces of chaos are rising from their sleep. So, I've heard amazing things about this one. This is a chunker. I believe it's on a lot of people's favourites of 2019, and I just really wanted to read it. I don't know what it is, but all you really need to say to me is dragons, and I'm like, yep, I'll read it, give it to me. So that's why I want to read it. And last but not least, the last book that I want to get to in 2020 is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, which will set off my white balance as well, and it follows a world where opium runs through the Nikara Empire, and it's a constant reminder of the war between the Federation of Mungan, the war that only was won because of 3 people, and these people are now kind of split up. One of them's dead, one of them's missing, one of them sits on the throne alone, and decades later it follows a war orphan, Runan, and when her parents kind of put her into arranged marriage, she is not having a bar of it and goes and joins a military academy in Singard, and it goes from there. But I know a lot of people have loved this. A lot of people have raved about this. The next one, The Dragon Republic, I think is out already, and I just want to see what this one is about. But that is it for me today, guys. There are my 10 must-reads in 2020, so hold me accountable. Force me to read these, please, because I need to. I really, really need to read them. But that is it for me today, guys. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more and have not already, and chat to me down in the comments. Let me know what books you need to read in 2020. I would love to hear. Let me know if you need to read any of these, or if you've read any and loved them. I would love to hear. But that is it for me today, guys. I make videos every Monday and Thursday, and I'll see you in a new one. Bye.